What's good, y'all? Welcome back to my first kicks. This is episode 127, and this week we welcome SneakerDenn, aka Dennis, to the podcast. Man, it's a super inciting episode because I learned a lot about how he started up, how is continuing to collect sneakers and sell sneakers. I learned a lot about the current way sneaker resellers, like people who are entrenched in buying and selling high priced sneakers, or like sneakers with a lot of history that people want. Like, I learned so much about that it made me hate not being able to do that back in the day. But I have a huge appreciation for Sneaker Den pulling up to the podcast. I'm hoping to get I'm just putting this out there. I'm hoping to get Sacred Mortal on. I hit him up, and if you aren't familiar with either of them, there are both resellers that they buy like some of the rare stuff. Like, both of them have had, I want to say, Sneaker Den has had like stuff from like the 80s, 90s, and Sacred Mortal has had like Freddy Krueger's and cactus plants and stuff that just goes for crazy. I think currently he's selling a pair of mags, like the ones that are like signed by Tinker Hatfield. It's crazy. It's crazy. Um, what this episode did do was let like people who are collectors like us, or like me, who appreciate not just like having the rare stuff, but like the history behind sneakers. It just sparked a lot of conversation in my head after the episode of like, man, I really want to do more content like that, of like on my own, not on the podcast necessarily. If I'm able to get people that are ingrained in the culture in the beginning of it like that, like, like Dave Ortiz, I always mention him, but it's just because it was a huge honor to me, and I hope to y'all that I had him on, because he created one of my favorite shoes of all time. So I think that just having the chance to do that, and it all became kind of full circle to me in my head with having Sneaker Den on, who's only been collecting and buying for about four years, I think he said in the episode. And he takes the time to go back and learn about sneaker culture because he wasn't around for it, and he's from the UK. Like, we recorded this in the middle of the day. It's very cool. But I learned a lot. And I mean, it's also, I want to say, it made me hopeful for people who are just starting in sneakers, and it's not just about collecting the hype stuff, but you know, sometimes in sneaker culture, the hype stuff, like the stuff with a lot of stories, the stuff with a lot of just a lot of heritage behind it and culture behind it, it costs a lot. So, and some of these people who are buying this up just to make the money off of the people who cherish and enjoy the sneaker that means so much to them. Like, some of them don't care about it, but to hear from Sneaker Den, who has been collecting for 4 years, has been putting in the time and effort to, and trying to educate people who are just starting to collect sneakers, don't understand why stuff is priced such a way. And he's also putting out content on his YouTube and his Instagram, and just bringing insight and information to this world that I feel like it's starting to get lost, and I want to contribute to that as well. I mean, I may not have all the sneakers. I may have, like, because when I get to a point when buying sneakers, I get to a point where I'm just like, all right, man, some got to go. And I've stated this before in several episodes. So it was just really cool. And I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Shout out to everybody who's been rocking with me for so long right now, I think. If you are an avid listener and you don't follow the socials, but you are interested in getting, some of these stickers, if you're looking at this on YouTube, you can see the stickers. But if you go to my Instagram and you want to rep the podcast, I have stickers. All you have to do is just message me or email me your address, and I will send you a bunch of stickers. I just would love, I know people are listening, and I would love to send you guys stickers for some sort of supporting the podcast for so long. So shout out to y'all if y'all listening. If this is your first time listening and you want stickers, hit me up. I will send you stickers. Anyway, on to where you can find Sneaker Den. You can find him on YouTube and Instagram at sneaker Den DENN, and I'll put the link tree for his stuff in the description of this podcast. If you are watching this, or if you are listening to this, and just so you know, this will be the first intro I will add to the videos on YouTube. Different setup. I had to move some stuff around, but I'm adding this onto the intro of the podcast. Shout out to you. Leave a comment telling me that you've been listening and you've been wanting the intro in the video in the comments. But you know where to find your boy. I am Who Is Haas on all social medias. Follow the podcast on My First Kicks Pod at gmail.com. I don't know why I said that. Follow the podcast at My First Kicks Pod. Follow the podcast on YouTube, TikTok at My First Kicks. If you have a My First Kicks story, hit me up. myfirstkickspod at gmail.com. Also, if you want stickers, hit me up. myfirstkickspod at gmail.com. Also, I want to say, shout out to y'all. But one more time. Just got the lineup I'm crafting for y'all this year is gonna be very dope. So just shout out to the Sneaker Den for pulling up to the podcast. So on to this week's guest, Sneaker Den. But before we jump into this episode, I want to talk to you about Drops and Collect by Soul Savvy. With Drops and Collect, you are able to stay ahead of the game. Using Drops, you can enter raffles and set alerts for any restocks. Well, I can't stop it anyway. Whatever. Before we jump into the episode, I want to talk to you about Drops and Collect by Soul Savvy. With Drops and Collect, you'll be able to stay ahead of the game. Using Drops, you can enter raffles and set alarms for any restocks. It would also help you to never miss a release ever again. I mean, my notifications on, and every morning my notifications go crazy. It's right before 10 o'clock. And after you cop some fresh kicks, use Collect to manage your collection. I'm still in the process of adding my kicks. I mean, I have a ton, but it's fine. But what's cool about Collect is that you can also make trades with no fees if you're a current member. But don't worry, if you aren't a member, you just have to pay a flat rate of $8. Now, how do you get these apps? Just use the links in the description of this podcast. Download these apps and grow your collection by also helping the podcast. That's right. Just use the links in the description and start expanding your collection today. Hey, Dennis, welcome to the podcast.
What's up, man?
Yo, man, huge honor having you on. I don't know. So I'm a little bit confused because I was thinking about it literally like before, just like, how did I add you? Because obviously your pictures are always shared by like the big sneaker outlets. So it's just like, I know that the last time the what made me hit you up was because you posted a pair of some old Heat, and I think like one of the outlets posted it on Twitter, and I was just like, what would be a great guest? SneakerDenn. And then I hit you up and I was like, I was already following you. I was like, oh, snap.
Do you remember what that picture was?
What was the last? I'm trying to think. It could have.
I mean, like nice. If that was on Twitter, Nice Kicks always repost my stuff. It's a bit random. Like it's not really like usually on Instagram. The blogs repost you if it's something like relevant to the times.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if like a colorway is coming back out and like I post the OG version or something like. But Nice Kicks basically like repost my stuff on Twitter like every 2 days, just random pictures, like like okay, cool.
I mean, it's wild. I think that I mean, listen, you're like, if you just look on your page, I was like looking. And I was like, Jesus, you've held some of the most rarest and craziest pairs I've ever, like, even it would be just like a crazy honor just to hold the pair, and you've held most of
Yeah,
everything.
yeah, for sure, for sure. Like when I started in the game, like I guess like 4 years ago when I really started, yeah, I would never have thought that I'd be dealing with these types of levels of grails. Although there's crazier shit out there that I've never, you know, like there's the people. I mean, this game is pretty nuts. Like people regularly get like Paris SBs and Freddy Kruegers and stuff like that, which is not really my game.
No,
But
you're in
yeah,
the
like
in the sneaker culture. You are in that rarefied like that. Like you're holding like UNOs and like
yeah, yeah.
PEs that never get to see the light of day unless you watch somebody
Exactly.
play in court. Like yeah.
Exactly. Like gems.
Mhm.
That's what I love. Yeah, for
I'm still
sure.
trying to find it, but while I'm trying to find it, let everybody know who you are and where to find you.
So I'm Dennis, better known as SneakerDenn in the sneaker space. And I'm I mean, I guess like a vintage sneaker shop, but also kind of just a well, I'd say like curator is a fair word because it's
Mhm.
also a lot of taste and choosing involved, and also like transmitting some knowledge and passion into the culture. So a bit of everything, but obviously it's Sneaker Den is also a business, so a lot of buying and selling vintage kicks. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it's wild because like I know Sacred Mortal follows you, and
yeah,
I was talking to him a little bit about it, just like because he's in the Freddy Krueger,
exactly.
rare space,
Yeah.
which is it's just like I never knew for it to be so lucrative because if I did, I'd probably be collecting. Like I would start over. Like I would go back in time and be like, all right, let's
It's
do this over.
honestly, I'm sure it's never too late to start. Like for real, it's just about like finding the your groove and you know what I mean. Like I started 4 years ago. I bought my first pair of Jordans,
Mhm,
and I like less than 4 years ago I bought my first pair of Dunks, and I didn't even know what a dunk was 4 years ago. So
mhm.
like there's no right or wrong time to start. So if you're with that, go for it.
See, but I'm saying more of like now I have bills. If I didn't have bills, I'd be like,
Mm,
I'll be like, all right, now I got like I can work this extra like 10 hours and get a pair of like, Iron
yeah, yeah,
Maidens just to have in the
yeah,
house.
yeah, yeah.
But let's just pivot right into the question that I ask everybody each week. And that question is, what's your first kicks? What's that first pair of sneakers you absolutely needed to have?
Wait, so that's the absolutely needed question, or just like first pair of kicks,
I mean, I
kind of?
phrase it that way, but I always tell people like it's whatever sneaker has the like your best story. So like, yeah. Unless you
Okay,
want to
okay,
just
okay.
go with that, but I always say just yeah,
Um,
best story.
the story. Uh, I guess. Well, let me think. Let me think. Maybe cut. You can cut. If, I don't know if you.
We
Because I
can
have
leave
like a
it in.
few. I have a
Yeah.
few, but like, um, sorry, sorry.
You're good.
Um, I mean, all right. Like, I'll just go for a relatively just one that I've already told, but yeah, the Orchard Street Dunks.
Mm, that's Grails right
Like
there.
yeah, and I like I always knew that those were crazy special.
Hmm.
But not really. I had no clue about. I used to say they were called Orchard Streets. Like I mispronounced them, and like didn't have a clue about the story. But it's just that green and orange and the cut on the wing
Hmm.
always, like when I started discovering more about dunks and stuff, I was like, wow, like this pair is crazy. And then one day, I and also just the orange and green are probably two of my favorite colors.
Hmm.
And one day I just decided like I need to find a pair. Like not a personal, because I don't put like that kind of money into personal
Mm-hmm.
collection stuff, but just to own and be able to, take pictures, tell the story, and just have them in hand is always crazy. And so, yeah, I just decided to like really go after them. I was looking all over, Facebook groups, Instagram, hashtags, like, and that still works. Quick tip, hashtags, like you can find stuff
Mm-hmm.
if you use the right hashtags and stuff. And I found this old post from like at least 3 years ago. Well, that was 2 years ago. So like a good 5 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
from like 2018 or something. And I scrolled through the comments,
Yeah.
and in the comments, someone commented like, I got US 11 for sale or whatever, like if anyone is interested. And that was, a 3-year-old comment at the
Mm-hmm.
time. And I was like, might as well just try. So I hit
Yeah.
up the guy. I was like, yo, do you still have those by any chance? And he did. So I obviously managed to grab that pair, and ended up finding a second one within like 1 month.
Mm-hmm.
And I just had there's 40 pairs in the world. So I had two of
30,
those.
30 pit. Oh yeah, there's 40. My bad. I thought
40,
it was yeah,
the
yeah.
nah, the red ones, there's 30.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I never actually had the real red ones, but I'm working on it right now. Uh of getting the red ones. But yeah, and so I got them, and then the story got better with, I guess, when I found out about where the inspiration behind the colorway was, which
Mm-hmm.
is Newport. uh and because there was merch that came with that shoe.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously it was a custom, like it's a bit different from a real collab, but it was a legendary project. And it was inspired by Newport, the Newport kind of visual identity, green
Yeah.
and orange, and like the font on the
Mm-hmm.
merch and stuff like that. And yeah, I mean, then like I wanted to do I love the Ari menthols as well. So there's the whole Newport link you can make between those two shoes,
Mm-hmm.
which I love. And then I wanted to make a collection. I have my brand
Right.
called Outsole.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to make a tribute collection to Orchard Street, because it's not an existing brand anymore. Like they closed down in 2015 and stuff. And I actually found the founder of Orchard Street, Greg Bennett,
Mm-hmm.
who I reached out to, and we had a conversation. I showed him the designs and stuff. That we didn't end up doing it, just for like kind of trademark issues, and the fact that he wasn't fully comfortable with it, because he wasn't like the only owner and stuff like that. But
Mm-hmm.
it did like create that relationship with him. And I really, he's an OG. He has crazy stories.
Yeah.
and
I might
and
you might have to alley oop that connection. I might have to get him on an episode.
yeah, no, and it's yeah, great story, and love the shoe. So yeah.
How much did you pay for them?
I can't say.
Oh, what? Oh, come on. But I'm gonna read a little synopsis of the shoe right here from Sotheby's.
I mean, just the value of them is around uh I'd say true value between 10 and 20,000
Right, yeah.
dollars.
Mm-hmm.
A big kind of range, but that's the rough value. Like I I don't know if you know Truist Hawaii. They
Mm-hmm.
have like 5 pairs, and they're asking like 40,000 for them, which I don't think anyone's paying.
Yeah.
But there was an auction at Sotheby's, and they sold for 18.
Mm-hmm. I think
So
I'm reading
so
that one
that
right now. I'm gonna read
yeah.
this
So
one,
so
the little synopsis real quick for the listeners
yeah.
about the shoe. These custom Orchard Street Dunks are best remembered for their infamous drop in 2003. Greg Bennett, co-founder of the streetwear brand Orchard Street, coordinated a release of customized Brazil and St. John Dunks, which were placed across New York City. The only way to get a pair was to physically find them. The shoes were positioned on street lamps and traffic lights, and dedicated sneakerheads were committed enough to scale these heights in order to secure them. Orchard Street modified 40 pairs of the Dunk High Brazil into custom colorways into a custom colorway. Each shoe was reworked into orange and green and black. A portion of the rear flaps were carved out to let the orange pop, and the tongue labels were reversed. Due to their incredibly limited quantities, the exclusive nature of their release, there's some. Wait, these are some of the most sought after custom dunks in circulation. Their pairs is numbered 20. This pair that I'm reading is the 23rd pair out of the 40, and includes. They also had the Orchard Street box. There's a pair on eBay I've been looking, size 13, because it's one of my Grails that comes with a newspaper and like everything, and I was just like, that's crazy. But
yeah. And actually, I think that they didn't actually come out in 2003. I think it's a kind of a mistake, because the production date of the base dunks is 2003, but the St. John's and the Brazils are from 2003, but the Orchard Street project would have been at least 2004, or even 2005. Like, I remember that I spoke with Greg, and he mentioned that it was in 2003, but yeah. That's what the label says.
I mean, how did you get into this? Have you always lived in the UK? I don't know exactly where you live.
I'm in London. I'm in London. Yeah. I was born in the US, in DC, and moved to Paris, France with my parents moved when I was 4. So I grew up in Paris. And then I moved to London for college and just stayed here. So I've been here for 8 years now in London.
Nice. So, what got you into the sneaker scene, and what was it that pulled you in? I want to say, because you're first off, you're really like, you are about, like, your content is always about the culture of it, like, versus everybody else who's out there. And I mean, I try to make content like that as well, paying homage to what is now mainstream sneakers,
Sure.
What got you into the culture of it?
I guess like the very beginning was I guess very similar to most people. It's like you discover this kind of hype thing around sneakers, like you have to sign up to raffles and you can make money, and like and it's not like anyone, you really have to work hard to actually make money, but like, you can get a W here and there and like resell for $300 or something, you know what I mean? So that's how I started. Like, just a couple of my friends were into it. And I asked all the questions. I was like, so how does this work and everything? And then I definitely just fell into this rabbit hole of, learning stuff about, first it was current releases, and then I guess like the life-changing moment for sure was just my I guess like when I discovered dunks through like rumors of the Off-White dunks coming out. So that was late 2019. I was following the sneaker blogs and everything, and there was this and actually no, I remember like the Panda, Panda is a blasphemous word nowadays, but the Jeff Staple Panda SBs,
the Panda Pigeons.
Panda Pigeons. Yeah, they came out in 2019, I think, and that's exactly when I was starting to follow releases and raffles and stuff. And I remember I didn't know what dunks were, and I discovered, and they were starting to do more and more SB releases and hyping up the silhouette. So I kind of just looked into it, and when I saw that there was this Off-White collab coming up, I was like, just from what I had learned in the past like 6 months, I just learned that Virgil was a huge influence on what people want. And if Nike is giving a dunk collab to Virgil, there's a high chance that dunks are gonna make a comeback, especially because they're so similar to Jordan 1s, and actually I even preferred dunks to Jordan 1. So I was like, this is a no-brainer. So I just started looking into not even the history, just like browsing on Depop and eBay and stuff like that, and finding stuff for cheap. And I just kind of took a gamble, although I was confident that it was gonna pop, and then just with time, you get deeper and deeper into it, you get more knowledge, and it's also more fun if you always discover new stuff. So that's why, the cultural aspect to it is important to me, because, I don't sell the same thing nowadays than I was 3 years ago or 1 year ago. Like, it's always, I discover new stuff. There's endless, the sneaker history is very rich. So it's a lot of fun.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, were you at all into sneakers when you were growing up in London, or are you
I
just
mean,
like,
like, I like to say that I always had uh a definite love for sneakers, but not as a, not as a, just I love kicks.
mm-hmm,
Like, I play basketball. Like, it's
mm-hmm.
just a, just like kids love buying new shoes. Like, it's not, there's no cultural thing to it, but it's just exciting. So it was always something that I enjoyed, but like, I had three pairs in my, it's not a collection, just three pairs at the time. And then if
Mm-hmm.
one is dead, then you buy a new one. But like, I always liked it, but I never had that, sneaker culture thing to it
No,
until
yeah.
2019. Yeah.
Yeah, were your friends, or like when your friends were your friends just always fresh and you were just like, I wish I could be.
No, no, not at all. That's the thing. It's like, when I grew up in Paris, like,
Mm-hmm.
uh, well, nowadays it has definitely changed. Like, sneaker culture has become huge. Like, the growth in the past 5 years, or even 5 to 10 years, has been huge. But like, when
Yeah.
I was in high school, like, I do remember like a couple of friends having Jordans or something. Like, I had a friend who was like super into hip hop and had like varsity jackets and like Jordan 4s, but like, he, you know, uh, no one cared about sneakers, so everyone was just wearing. So I like I had in high school, like, I had blazers, I had Puma suedes, I
Mm-hmm.
had, like, stuff that's cool, but like, it's nothing that stands out, and it's not something that people really cared about. So it
Mm-hmm.
was more like in college, when on my basketball team, two of my friends were like proper, not like crazy sneakerheads, but like, they had a few pair of Jordans, and like, were following the stuff. So they really initiated me. And also, I was living in an area where you had like an Offspring, a Size,
Mm-hmm.
a JD Sports. So like, on my way to college, I would, that my
Step in.
final year, yeah,
Yeah.
I would just walk by these shops every day, and that definitely contributed as well. Yeah.
Where was it like? I guess my next question would probably just be like, did you have a first job before you started jumping into reselling, or
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. I had a very short span, but because that would have been, yeah. I finished uni in 2019, and then I
Mhm.
had a job until pretty much, well, that whole year, and I kind of started sneakers alongside it, and then
Mhm.
when COVID hit, uh, you know,
You were
that's when
just
sneakers took over. But yeah, I
yeah.
was a kind of like a substitute teacher slash teaching assistant in
Hmm.
different middle schools in London. Yeah,
That
and I was already, pulling up in some like Jordan ones and stuff. So it was a great way to connect with kids and stuff.
they were like, oh, I can't. I hope we get Mr. Den.
Yeah, yeah,
That's sick. So like, I mean, see, I'm not a I've resold sneakers, but I will never. I don't think I'm a reseller at like, or like I don't think I could ever be in that scale, because like I have the problem where if I get a sneaker, I like in unless it's like not my size, then I'm gonna put it on. So like,
mm.
did you just start off being like, I'm gonna just get these in whatever size, and then, or did you stay
Ye-
away from your size until you got bigger?
um, uh, it's a good question. I mean, like, somehow uh, you know, I feel like I always kept a very cool head in terms of my own consumption of sneakers.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I still am, like, I buy sneakers every month, but like, my collection is pretty, like, I have no more than 40 pairs
Mm-hmm.
max, personals. And I'm really like just because I like a colorway isn't enough for me to like, okay, I have to keep it. Like I have to have more reasons for it, because otherwise, yeah, I'd be in trouble. But at the beginning, I guess like when I started, well, I obviously started buying all sizes. Like I wasn't buying my personal size, but I would get in my personal size. But I think you're a size 13. I think I
Yeah.
saw, and I'm a size 13 as well. So it's also not the most common size to find.
Mm-hmm.
So also, um, and and now like I do get like a lot of bigger sizes as well. But like yeah, I don't know. Like I always I very rarely had this true dilemma like, ooh, I might have to keep those. Like because to me the
Mm-hmm.
fun is like getting it in hand, unbox. Like I get super excited when I unbox a new pair that I've never had,
Mm-hmm.
and I love taking pictures, telling the story on Instagram and YouTube now, and like and then being able to just make some extra cash through that as well. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's to me part of the fun, and obviously I have to make a living out of it, but if there's that fun that goes into it and then I make some cash, like that's perfect. So I don't really need to keep them that much. Yeah.
No, yeah. What made you pivot into adding, like, instead of just sticking to reselling, what made you pivot into creating content?
Well, I never, well, I mean, I guess like, yeah, like the very early days,
Mm-hmm.
it was strictly selling. Like I started on Depop actually,
Mm.
and I got even to like 11,000 followers on there. I was the dunk guy on Depop, but then I got banned.
What? Why'd you get banned? You sold too many?
Not because they take a 10% fee
Yeah.
on every purchase and on every sale, and I was always like redirecting my customers to Instagram. I was
Yeah.
like, hit me up on Instagram, so I saved the 10%. And obviously they have algorithms and stuff that detect that kind of stuff, so they gave me a warning, and then they just blocked me, and now I can't even create a Depop account on any device. Like,
Jeez.
yeah, like that's one side of the sneaker market that I can't access anymore.
Depop
uh
got you D-blocked right now.
yeah. Exactly. But yeah, so when I started on Depop, it was purely selling,
Mhm.
but then when I transitioned to Instagram, I guess like be, it's just an easier way of growing your business as well. It's like I also came in like the timing was perfect. I got very lucky with COVID and the dunk wave coming back, which obviously helped me grow because
Mhm.
people were very excited about dunks. But like if I think if I was just a selling page, people would reshare less
Mhm.
and get excited less because it's strictly like buy and sell. Whereas I was from the get go kind of trying to put together some pairs together and like, educate and show people stuff that they might have never seen before. And like that's when people get excited about your content, and like that's where you grow. So I mean, it's also fun, but it's obviously also a good way of getting eyes on your page.
Mhm. Do you
Yeah.
do you mainly just sell to around the UK, or do you also
No,
sell?
not at all. Not at
Okay.
all. Mainly to the US
Mainly
actually.
to the SF. So people are
Yeah.
down to pay that shipping.
Honestly, the shipping is $35.
I mean, that's a lot to me, man.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Because like within the US it's 15.
Hmm.
When I buy on eBay and stuff like that, like US to US is $15.
Yeah.
So $35, considering you're buying from abroad, like, well, yeah, the fact that people buy from the US shows that it's it's all right. But yeah, I mean, it like just the sneaker culture in the US is like 10 times bigger than anywhere else. There's
Hmm.
no comparison.
I mean, I was just
Uh,
about to ask, like, what is like, do you get to experience the sneaker culture over there?
in the UK, I mean, a little bit. Of course, I mean, but just it's there's less. there's definitely less knowledge and like appreciation of, I don't know, like Jordan history, SB history. Um, Not that there's not, the same in the US. I mean, at the end of the day, most of of people who are into sneakers don't give a shit about this and buy like the Travises and the Off-Whites and stuff like that,
Yeah.
which I mean, I'm not hating. Like, if you're a Travis fan, or
You
if
can hate.
you're
You can hate. It's all right.
no, 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 I'm not. I'm really not. Like, I love. I'm a huge fan of Virgil, and Travis shoes are fire. I just, I don't relate to the product that much, um, but yeah, in the UK, like, yeah, it's a bit different. It's much bigger in terms of Air Maxes, for example.
Right.
Europe is known for, UK is huge on Air Max 95s, um, Air Max 1s a little bit, and if you go to like France or the Netherlands, they're huge Air Max 1s, sneakerheads, which also speaks to me less, But of course, you have some like OG collectors and very knowledgeable people and stuff. It's just not as much as in the US, for sure.
That's
Yeah.
interesting because I mean I had K Def on and he's huge on SBs and he lives in the UK also.
Okay.
So like he's always just like, yeah, he's like, yeah, I'll like he has crazy pairs, and then
Hmm.
he was just wearing them and be like, yeah, and then everybody else is just wearing like Yeezys or Air Maxes,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then he has to explain the story because it's
Yeah.
not just like common knowledge, but I think that sneaker culture isn't because like obviously the UK has its own sneaker culture. You can't just be like, oh no, you don't understand because this shoe is from this boutique, and they'd be like, this
Yeah.
boutique, what's this boutique about? Like, so
Yeah.
like you have to do
Yeah.
a whole explanation. So yeah.
No, and obviously, like, there's history here as well. I mean, like, you know, uh, the Slam City
Mm-hmm.
Dunks, the SBs, like, that's a London store, and you have some brands, and like Cortez, for example, is
Right.
a huge new age movement in the UK, which
Mm-hmm.
is like I really mess with as well. I mean, again, not something that I would buy, but like
Did you
it's
get them?
it's no, 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 no. I don't try. I don't participate in like the raffles and really
the
current releases.
well, he did like a longitude latitude drop, and you have to be
Yeah,
like, yeah, it's
yeah, yeah.
crazy.
No, I don't. But I think it's super cool what he's doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So the culture is present. It's just very different. It's very different for sure. Yeah.
hmm The what do you think the since you're studying the way it previously was, or I mean you're enlightening people, you're spending more time enlightening people on the way it previously was. I mean that's the how I grew up. Like that's like I was there for a lot of the stuff. So like what do you see now, and what do you what's like, do you see any commonalities, like, or do you think that just people aren't understanding where this is coming from, and you feel like there should be more emphasis on the way the culture was before and how it is now?
It's more like I wish that like Jordan Brand, I feel like anyone who's really passionate about sneakers and the history and stuff, everyone agrees that like they could be doing more in terms of telling the stories, because at the end of the day, like the the true value in the sneakers, why we pay certain amounts for
Mm-hmm.
stuff, it is the story. It's
Mm-hmm.
not just because it's a cool color, because otherwise like they'd all be worth the same. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and they did it. I think they did it super well with the reimagined the
Mm-hmm.
Chicago's. Like, that was super cool, because for people who are new and are buying this shoe, like, you can't avoid but learn by, the fact that the box is aged and the
Mm-hmm.
paper and the shoe, and like it's really telling that story. But like most of the time, I feel like it's quite lazy. So the product is all right, but like Although obviously, again, like the quality and stuff like that, that's different. But like, the fact that a lot of people don't really know, I guess, even the story behind, like the Be True to Your School dunks. Like they brought back all the colorways. Obviously, they, the Syracuse lows they started with, and then the Iowas, the Michigans, and then they, now every single possible colorway on the planet has released in dunks. But like, where is the,
the story behind it? Yeah, the story, or even just like, I mean, I remember when they did the retro. I don't know if you've seen this, but like there was a retro, I think it was in like 2013, 2012, but they did all the original pack with aged, like they aged all of it.
Oh, that was 2007.
2007, sorry,
yeah, the vintage pack.
Yeah, and then they had the whole like, if you they had like an installation where you can like see, or it was either installation or like an ad where you can see it in like a locker, and so it was just like they basically, like, it was like the story was like they found it in an old locker.
Really?
So, yeah. I don't know if you remember that, but yeah.
No, I mean, obviously I don't remember it, but I didn't know. But I thought that even just the shoes themselves did their job by, the fact that they were yellowed, and like the shape was more true to, it really felt like the 80s, like the big swoosh and stuff like that. So that's great. But now, it's most of the time they don't do that, which is unfortunate.
I know.
But yeah.
No, you go ahead. You were gonna say.
No, I was gonna say, I mean, it doesn't mean that like in the early 2000s, like, the Be True to Your School dunks, they've had multiple retros, and they came out in 1999 and then 2003. I'm pretty sure that they didn't have a crazy rollout either.
Yeah.
But back then, sneakers were so niche, I guess, that it would only be people who cared that would, or also like all these dunks were like discounted at Foot Locker for $25. So I guess a lot of people didn't care anyways. But now there's definitely this, there is the audience for it. So might as well do it,
I mean, the audience is so huge right now. It's, I mean, I don't know how many pairs you sell a month, but I'm pretty sure like there's always there's never not a week you're not selling a pair.
No. But that's just the pool of people is huge, and for sure.
It's, I mean, look, just looking for the listeners, it's just like you're in front of the boxes I grew up, the orange boxes I grew up on seeing, and so it just like brings me back to like, I remember when I first got like that, when seeing that orange box with the gray, like that like cork on the back, and man, I was just like, getting a pair of Air Forces in them used to be like the holy grail type status. So
it's a vibe. Those boxes are for sure a vibe.
Has there ever been, because I have a story, but like, has there ever been a pair that you got that you thought like you thought you were gonna get what you see in the picture, and then like you get a pair and it's just like, man, they like smoke cigarettes in this thing, like, or like, has there been a bad pair like that?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, not a lot at all, but I definitely had like at least one occasion where I bought. Is the camera moving too much, or is it okay?
No, it's fine.
okay.
Okay.
Just because I piled up some boxes, so it's not super stable. You're sitting on a 85 UNC right now.
Crazy.
One time I remember that one was pretty bad. I bought a 1999 dunk, actually a UNC dunk. And I knew it was a bit beat, but like it looked all right on pictures, and when I got it I was like, this is filthy. Like, this is, I had to get rid of it ASAP. Like, I just didn't want this in my home,
like something didn't crawl out of it when you opened the box. You were like, oh, snap.
No, I mean, it was just probably like very heavily skated, and but yeah, you get smells as well. Like sometimes it smells like cigarettes, sometimes it smells like moisture, like, or I don't know, it's maybe not the right word, but like all these very old shoes, like generally 2000s are all right, but when you go back to the 80s, like and you find stuff that's been in a box, I don't know where,
somebody's attic for like 16
yeah,
years, and
exactly,
you're like,
yeah,
they open it, and they're like, oh snap, I have these. Oh no,
yeah,
they just been sitting, man. Yeah,
yeah,
it's wild. I don't know if you
yeah.
saw, like, cause I mean, I post on TikTok, but I made a video on these military fours I wore in the rain. They're the 2012 release military
Hmm.
fours. Wore them in the rain, put them in the box. Well, I let them dry out, and then I put them in the box. Put them in the box. I'm like smelling something weird coming out of the closet. I open the box, and the shoe is growing moss out of it.
No way.
Yeah, straight up. I'll show you a picture
No
after, or you can watch
way.
the Tik. I'll send you the TikTok after. But yeah.
Oh wow. How
Yeah.
long was it in the closet though? Like
for
how
like
soon
for
did
like 2 days. It wasn't even nothing like
really?
crazy. Yeah, it was just like, yeah.
Wow.
Um, do you do you have? Sorry, this is a personal question. Do you have, like, personal pair for me? Do you have any of the Pro Bs, like back?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I've had a few. I don't know if I still have any.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely like the Olive Pro Bs
Mm-hmm.
definitely had a moment. I remember like I've had quite a few pairs of those, and I remember like Travis wore them,
Mm-hmm.
and that
You were like, I got to get
that
these out of here now before this price goes down.
and actually, little gem, uh, Joe LaPuma picked up a pair
Oh.
of olives, and he literally hit me up like the day Travis wore them. He was like, "Yo, do you have these?" Like, and I actually did in his size, so he he picked those up. But yeah, all of, Pro Bs. I've had the 99, the putties.
Mm-hmm.
Recently, actually, I was never too much into those. But then I ended up getting a pair, and those are cool. Although I'm not a fan of the laces. I don't know if you see the 99 Pro
Yeah.
Bs. There's the Smurfs and the putties. They
Yeah.
have those kind of different laces,
Yeah, they're like flat, thick laces.
flat, thick. Yeah.
Yeah,
And I always thought they were kind of weird.
yeah. The
But
Smurfs are my favorite. I have a pair of the red
really,
grip tapes, but the red grip,
okay,
it's the 99 pair. So
yeah,
like it's like I want to say it was like their GRs when they was doing the grip tapes. Like they had the black and then the red, the team reds.
okay,
And so it's when they started using the SB laces. So I don't
yeah,
have,
yeah.
So yeah, I
Wait,
have
so
those.
the red grip tape, is that with the like white swoosh?
Yeah, with the white swoosh.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah. Are these from 99?
yeah, they're from 99.
Oh, nice.
Or
Yeah, I've never had those.
yeah, or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's 2001. I always say they're 99.
Maybe
Yeah, I
I'd
think they're
say
2001.
2001.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the Team Reds are from 2001.
Yeah.
Um,
I
yeah.
mean, it's wild to have like old pairs, because that's a pair that I sold and got back specifically, and I was just like, all right, this is cool. I paid. I like saved $10 buying them back, but whatever, it's fine. Have you, like, what is a pair minus the Orchard Streets that you thought like you would never have in hand, and you're just like, I can't believe it. I basically want to
Yeah.
say it like a come to Jesus moment of like, oh my God, I'm doing this. Like, yeah.
Yeah. I guess like well, everything becomes a bit uh like normal with
Mm-hmm.
time, but like if you look back, I don't know, like there was always um fascination around, I don't know, like a DS85 Jordan 1. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's like just, I don't know, 3 4 years ago you would say I had never seen a 85 in my life,
Yeah.
and I felt like that was pretty rare just for people in general to see. And now, because also I feel like the vintage game has grown a lot in itself,
Mm-hmm.
it just becomes more common. But like having one in your own possession from 85, that's pretty crazy. Or like the Ari Mentals, when I was discovering sneaker culture and like watching videos on YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
there's this whole kind of legendary story around it, and you think that that's the forbidden sneaker. Like, wow. but actually I managed to get a pair.
I mean, that's wild. It's funny because I was hanging out with him a couple of days ago. So
Oh, nice, nice.
yeah, that's a friend of the pod. Friend of
Did
the pod.
Nice. Did you mention that we were
No,
because
this is
I
before I asked. Before
okay,
I
because
asked.
I actually interviewed Ari in New York
Mhm.
a month ago, and I'm still working on the editing of the video, but
He's
but yeah,
he's
he's
uh he's great. He's great. Love the
yeah,
guy.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, even just the fact that I like met him
Hmm.
and then um did the, like that's pretty crazy when looking back a couple of years ago when
Hmm.
I was like at point zero, yeah. So for sure, those types of stories.
What I mean, you're. I love that you have this you have your fascination. Your fascination is with the niche part of sneaker culture because, like, I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know. Do you remember the SB Drunks?
No,
Oh
I don't.
man. Now
What are
that
those?
I'm gonna put you so during the height of Nike SB, like skaters were hating on it. So like because it was Nike, they were like, no, we like our skate companies.
Yeah.
So there was like this brand, and I forgot the name of the brand, but they put out a sneaker that is the send helps, but with instead of a check, they put a banana on it and
Okay.
sold out instantly once they put it out. They
So
had a
like a
season.
bootleg.
Yeah, it's straight bootleg,
Okay.
like the menthols, and it was just
Okay.
a commentary on that. Like skateboarding sneakers shouldn't be from
Yeah.
Nike, and
Yeah. Yeah.
so
Yeah. Yeah.
there's a like you're. I mean, if this puts you on a hunt
Okay.
to get a pair, you probably it's gonna be near to impossible because I haven't seen a pair since 2012. I want to say.
Don't tempt me.
This is the tempt. I'm tempting you. This is the mission because like that shoe, it's like that shoe is along the like the RE, the menthols, the Orchard Streets. I even I don't know. Do you know about the Brazil series that Nike SB did?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
and
love
those are
that. That
yeah,
yeah, I love that.
and
When
those are
I
all customs. Those aren't even like Nike SB official. They're like unofficial official. It's weird.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's weird, but I mean they are Nike stamped and approved.
Yeah, yeah,
Just
yeah.
different factories and stuff like that, but like
Hmm.
yeah, yeah, when I learned about that uh I definitely that's the kind of very niche stuff that I love, exactly. Custom series, Brazil's. And like I posted, I don't know if you saw like they did a Buck,
Hmm.
the Buck
Yeah,
SB, they
yeah.
did a made in Brazil version. I
Hmm.
don't know if you saw that.
I saw that. Yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah, and I love doing the side by side. Like the original obviously has the buck on the back,
Hmm.
the Brazil one doesn't, and there's differences in the shades of green and yellow, and like the shape, obviously the laces, like it looks fake
Hmm.
essentially, the made in Brazil, but it's not, and it's so much rarer than the real thing. There's
Hmm.
only like 400 pairs, so to me that's where the value is. It's like, that to me that's more valuable than a buck SB. Not that a buck SB is not, but like it's even
You don't gotta go back on it. It's fine.
but
We
it's just
understand.
like such a cool little story that
Yeah.
yeah, you
It's
can
like an
really
Easter egg.
appreciate.
It's like when you're playing a
Exactly.
video game and you're like,
Exactly.
"Is this for me? Like this? I got
Yeah.
this joke." Like
Yeah, 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 yeah.
it's very interesting. I think that that's what's missing currently, right? I think that
Yeah,
we don't have these like
I
rare
agree.
like offshoots that make you want to be
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm part of this. Like, oh,
Yeah, I
I got
agree.
one of these, because I mean, Grails were always, and I mean, this is growing up, like Grails were always that pair that it it seems impossible to get, but like, and it's not about the money. It's about will I ever get to the status of be able to get like, will Nike be like, yo, we got these for
Mm.
you, like
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
that's
Yeah, yeah.
I
Yeah.
think now it's like it's so common. I mean, even with like DJ Khaled getting sneakers early, like it's
Yeah.
everything is super heavily influencer
Yeah.
like lifestyle of just like, oh, I got these early. Oh, you look at these
Yeah.
coming out. Like I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't
I
know. Yeah, no, go
yeah.
ahead. Go ahead.
I
Go
get
ahead.
I guess I 100% agree with you. And I guess that it's that in between, because like friends and family is still a thing,
Hmm.
but that's too exclusive. Like us, the regular people can't get friends and family
Hmm.
Travis's organically, or like, but there isn't that kind of, if you know, you know, um, kind of releases and
Yeah.
stuff like that that are, I don't know, because everything just falls into either the hype cycle
Mm-hmm.
or like resell. Like if something is very limited and it's
Mm-hmm.
gonna be, and there's gonna be demand for it, like resellers are gonna buy it up,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And
So
I guess it's
are
just
you
the
against resellers?
you're sounding like Matt Welty on I don't know if you watch.
Yeah.
Have you ever resold sneakers?
Yeah.
No, but like my game is different from like the traditional reseller that just
Mm-hmm.
buys up uh 20 pairs of a current release. But um there's no, it's not like I'm against it. It's just um it's just the unfortunate way that the well, not the industry, but the market is now. There's just too much demand,
Yeah.
and obviously people, like, if there's demand, the prices go up, and if the prices go, like, and people need to make money. I mean, it just makes sense, but it's definitely something that's missing, that feeling of, the Orchard Street or the Arimentals or the
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that kind of stuff. I wish was a thing we could, like, just on the regular experience, that would have been awesome.
Do you, I mean, I guess like, is that because of the internet? Like, or I mean, damn, how do I explain it? Because like, in my head, it's just like I think it's the way of direct to consumer, so DTC. Like
Hmm.
if like Nike is just like, oh, we don't have to go into stores and help out these boutiques. Like we can just sell it to everybody on the website. Like does that it helps? Like we're not they're not nobody's giving, and I mean that's like even the resellers or like the people that buy the sneakers to wear, like they're not giving these small shops the chance. They're just like nah, we're just cutting this out. Now we don't have to do these collabs. Like so then now we're just focusing on collaborating
Yeah.
with artists and musicians because that's what's going to sell sneakers. So when that goes, or if that's on the way out, do you think that sneaker culture as a whole gets like kicked out because of that?
Well, I guess like that's why I'm sure every day more and more people get into vintage. Like
Hmm.
I'm sure that a lot of people get a bit, like, love sneakers but get a bit bored of the current landscape. Like if you go into a sneaker resale shop,
Hmm.
you see the exact same stuff in every
Always.
shop.
Yeah. And
It's
and the
not even,
prices are crazy too. And I'm
yeah,
like,
I
what are
mean,
you
it's not
doing?
even, you're if you're I feel like if you're a real sneakerhead, the odds that of you going into a sneaker shop and finding a pair and buying it are close to zero.
Hmm.
You're gonna go window shop, but like if you really want a pair, you're gonna buy it off eBay or something. But everyone has the same thing in the store, so I think just naturally more and more people look maybe to the past, and maybe that's gonna bring in, a new wave of like creators and influencers, so to
Hmm.
say, that will play a part in, Nike or Jordan, or to tell those stories and bring that back. But um uh yeah, but the current landscape. I mean, there's some cool stuff going on in sneakers as well. It's not
Hmm.
all bad. Like I'm
Right.
not,
Yeah.
I don't want to, like, I'm not even an OG. I don't want to sound like the gatekeeper or anything. I'm completely not. But there's definitely some stuff that could be better.
I think. I
But
think.
actually, even,
No. No. No.
yeah,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead, go ahead.
All right. I was just
Um,
saying, like,
yeah,
my bad. My bad.
no, 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 go for it,
I,
go for
I
it.
think. I think there's two different things, and I think not to be old headish also and gatekeeperish, but I think there needs to be a separate line between into sneakers and sneaker culture, because
Yeah.
once you start, I think we're at this point where people don't understand that there's a difference. Like you can like sneakers, you can pay whatever you want for them, you can buy them because you want them. But then when you start saying that, oh, I do this because I'm in the culture, I'm in sneaker culture, and then when somebody asks you a sneaker culture related question and you don't have a sneaker culture related answer, then you need to understand that, like, oh, okay, maybe I should be not, like, maybe I'm not really into this like this person is, and I think
Yeah,
that's
yeah, yeah.
okay because
Yeah.
well, the biggest thing that sneaker culture was created on was having conversations when two people don't like the same thing, and you spend the
Mm,
time being like, oh, but I like
mm,
this about the shoe, oh,
yeah.
and this, and then you have a conversation. but
Yeah, yeah,
but now
yeah.
we're all just spending way too much time telling people why you don't have these, how come you don't have these, and why are
Yeah.
you spending so much on this, or why you didn't spend so
Yeah.
much on this. Now that
And
now
also
this
just there's so much like everyone is into the same stuff, like you were
hmm
saying, that there was more diversity back in the day
hmm
in what people were into, and like for example, recently I got into ice creams, just because I think it's a very cool, well, actually I think they're fire and there's potential in terms of like storytelling and stuff like that.
to each their
And
own,
I
but
feel
okay.
like, huh?
I said to each their own, but okay.
Yeah. But like I feel like, if you go back into the 2000s, like there must have been, people, ice cream heads, SB heads, Air Force One heads,
hmm
Jordan heads, now if you look at like the majority of newcomers in the
hmm
game, so of course there is a minority of OGs and a minority of younger people who have more, but like the mainstream is everyone is into the same stuff, which which yeah, it's not bringing much value to the space,
No, yeah, yeah.
um
I think that's what happens because, like, I grew up in the era where sneakers were. I mean, I grew up in the era where comics were whack. Being into like Yu-Gi-Oh cards is whack. Like, like all this stuff that now it's like highly collectible.
yeah.
Or like now it's like cool, it's mainstream. But like the previous time was just like you weren't like, oh, if you didn't have the freshest Jordans, you're not cool. Like, but
Mm,
now it's like, oh, if you just don't have the most recent release, then are you
yeah,
cooler?
yeah, yeah.
Like, it's just
But
like,
it's
no.
yeah, the internet for sure is
hmm
playing into this, like, and even the fact that why we can't get those types of niche kind of releases and stuff, it's because the information goes so fast,
hmm
like it's gonna get to people who are not in the culture, who are in the space but not in the culture, and who are gonna, like for example, last year, so it was the 20-year anniversary of Nike SB. So
Yeah.
super cool. Nike SB did activations. Yeah, they did that in LA. I don't know if they
hmm
did that in New York, but
They
they
didn't
did
do
it
it in New
in
York. I
they
wish I would
didn't.
have been there.
That's a
Yeah.
shame. That's a
Yeah.
shame. But they did it in London.
hmm
Crazy display, like a great storytelling. They put it in categories like music,
hmm
holidays, just awesome stuff. And I just feel like how cool, how perfect would it have been if every exhibition for the 20, because they did it, LA, London,
hmm
Barcelona, Tokyo, if every one of them had their own shoe for the exhibit,
Right.
and
And
you
you
can
got, yeah.
only get in a certain way, and
hmm
in a way that it doesn't just get bought up by resellers.
Right.
That would have been awesome.
You gotta
But they
hit a
didn't
kick
even
flip. You
do
gotta hit
that,
it. You gotta hit a tray flip in order to get
Well, look, I don't skate. I don't skate.
it.
But yeah, there must be ways of bringing that in, but it's just
hmm
so difficult with when that just there's so many eyes on the space that, imagine if they did that. Of course, resellers would be lined up at the exhibition or whatever to make sure that they get the shoes or whatever.
Right.
So
Yeah. I mean, it's even with like the Tiffany drop at Copling's Con, right? Like
mm,
people like that canary yellow, people were just going crazy. Like they were, I heard it was like bum rushing people just to get that pair over there because it was a Complex Con exclusive drop. And even that was like, that's cool. Like, sure,
mm,
I want the pandemonium and the mayhem because you really want,
yeah,
so it's people that really want the shoe, you know.
yeah,
So like I'm gonna hit you with this last question, then we can get out of here
for
because,
sure.
but damn it, I just lost it. It was a good one too. Damn it. The Oh, okay. So overall, what do you want to see out of new people that are coming into this? Like, is it more just culture? Like, what are you doing? Like, you're taking the time and going back and seeing the stuff and and seeing the old stuff, or are you I got it. That's the wrong question. I got it. Here we go. Are you are you into the brands now creating like this idea of what sneaker culture is, or are you more for the people in the culture creating the culture? Like, because
So
as a
so explain.
so like for instance, obviously you said the lost and found, but I'm trying to think of another shoe. Let's see. Alma Meneers, like we know Alma Meneers dropping, they're creating stories based on the shoes, right? But you going
Mhm.
back, right, and seeing how sneakers were just basically like it was the people wearing the shoes that created the narratives and the stories that are based around the shoe. Before there were just colorways, and now the stories are added on by the
Mhm.
people.
Mhm.
So now you've seen that previous way of how it was done, and now brands are taking that and
Mhm.
manufacturing that.
Mhm.
What do you
Yeah.
think? What do you think is, I want to say, like, what do you think is
Yeah.
more fruitful for you specifically?
I guess, I mean, like another release that I really loved was
Mm-hmm.
the Union Dunks
Mm-hmm.
pack, which that's something that would speak to me in terms of you're not just inventing. I don't, for example, Ama Manier collabs don't speak to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're cool. It's like this kind of premium, very almost chic kind of,
Yeah.
the Jordan 2s, the 1s, the 3s, like they're nice. But like the Union, the Passport pack, that was telling the story of those
The
region
Meridian,
exclusives,
yeah,
huh?
the Meridian dunks and the what's the other one? The purple, like, but
So
yeah,
there,
the wasn't
yeah,
it like
yeah. So there
the
was the
blue ones? Argons.
Argons,
I said
yeah,
Meridian. My bad.
yeah,
Argons.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
Argons, pistachios,
Pistachio. Yeah.
and the purple ones. Like, that's telling the story of that era that we're talking about right now,
Mm-hmm.
and like the fact that you had to travel and stuff like that. That was, I thought that was awesome. Again, not something I bought because it's just aesthetically not necessarily my thing, or
Mm-hmm.
even just the fact that most people who buy that shoe probably don't care about the story or know
Right.
it, and a lot of people wear them. You see those quite regularly. They're
Mm-hmm.
pretty. A lot of people mess with them, and I just don't feel like wearing, like, you know what I mean. It's
Mm-hmm.
like the off whites. I love a lot of them, but because most people that wear them because of the hype, not
Mm-hmm.
necessarily for more uh, thought through reason,
Mm-hmm.
then I just might as well skip. But just going back to your question, like, I think that's what speaks to me more. But again, like, you can't just build an industry on the past.
Right.
So, it's just like, if you had asked me, like, do you think that it's better to put emphasis on like retros or on new um technologies or
Mm-hmm.
silhouettes and stuff? Like, of course, everyone prefers retros, but you can't just for the rest of time live off retros,
Right.
whether that's Nike or Adidas. Like, you have to create new stuff. So I guess it's um as long as like the passion and the storytelling is there, like, I don't
Mm-hmm.
mind. Obviously, personally, I just identify more with the old stuff, but like, that might change maybe in 20 when I'm like a 20-year-old sneaker veteran in the game. I might be done with old stuff. I don't know,
You'll
but
be
for
back on
now,
the
that's
you'll be
what
back
I.
on the podcast then. I'll be like 20
Yeah, we'll
years.
revisit.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll revisit. Yeah, yeah. But I don't know. Does that answer your question? Like,
No, yeah. I mean, I wanted to know from you being, only in the game for such a small time. Like,
yeah.
I've been collecting since 2006, 7, something like that.
So you
So,
you had the good era of
yeah.
sneakers as well, of like,
Yeah.
that's cool.
But yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
before that, I mean, I was always into sneakers. I just couldn't afford any of it. So
Mm.
it's just interesting because I I collected, fell in love with it, but I fell in love with it because of the community. And then the
Mm.
sneakers were just part of it, like, just being like, and then learning about the stories, and then you get really in depth into stuff, and because I was an SB head for like a majority of this, and so my love for SBs is just because they're the ones that always took the chances. Like they're the ones that were just like, we're gonna put this crazy colorway together, and
Yeah,
then
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
then the community loved it on top of that. So
Yeah.
like,
And I
yeah.
think SB, Nike SB, honestly, if to give credit where credit is due, I
Hmm.
think Nike SB is doing a great job
Hmm.
in general. It's still, well, there was a, I think a
Everybody
pretty
talks about
shit.
the taped box
Yeah,
era.
terrible, terrible. Like anywhere
Everybody
from
on this podcast has said that, man.
2009 to like
Yeah.
2018
Hmm.
was just, you can cross it off, like you don't need it at all. But like now it's a pretty good time for SB. Like
Hmm.
they're doing interesting stuff in terms of collabs, materials, colorways,
Hmm.
stories. So, you know, it's just a different time, I guess. Yeah, for you also, you fell in love with sneakers, you said, through the community.
Yeah.
And now like the community is so big, it's not, it's almost not really a community. Like there
Right.
is a community if you really look for it. And obviously, like um I feel part of the kind of the vintage community in
Hmm.
terms of like OGs, like 85s and stuff. Like there's a community for that. There's a community for like vintage dunks and stuff. But like the sneaker community in general is so big. It's,
Hmm.
you know, so it just has a different feel to it. Whereas when you were getting into it, like I can imagine how fun that must have been.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
going down to like
Just
Soho to
lining,
like,
yeah,
yeah, and like,
yeah,
yeah,
lining up in front of
everybody was a
stores
lot.
and stuff.
Yeah,
Like,
you
yeah,
could have a conversation with anybody. Like it wasn't
yeah,
just like,
yeah,
I don't even like sneaker. Like I'd
yeah,
get on the line now and people would just, they have their headphones in, they're not trying to talk to anybody, and then
yeah,
they're
yeah,
just
yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah, I'm just trying to put this on eBay right now. Like just get my $30. It's like, all right, man.
Yeah, yeah. No, yeah, it's different. But I guess like yeah, hate the game, not the player, It's just the result of this game that I mean, if there's money to be made and the information is so accessible and stuff, it's just you can't really avoid it. So hopefully the brands find new ways of
Hmm.
creating that cultural aspect to it.
Nah,
Yeah.
yeah, perfectly said. Let everybody know where to find you because I feel like you didn't say that in the
Yeah, so
beginning.
no, it is. So SneakerDenn on Instagram. So SneakerDenn, DENN at the end, Den for Dennis.
Mhm.
And then SneakerDenn on YouTube as well.
Mhm.
I'm trying to, make some moves on there,
Same
create some
here.
cool content,
Yeah.
have fun with it. And I guess, yeah, and outsole my brand, spelled outsole like SOUL,
Hmm.
not SOLE. I've taken a small break on the
I
brand.
noticed that. I was like, where's this?
Yeah,
Because I was looking
yeah,
at everything. I was like, this is fire. Like, what's going on? So yeah.
yeah, yeah. No, because yeah, I've had a lot on my plate, but I'm
Hmm.
definitely looking to come back to it. And the brand is obviously very aligned with what I do on my main,
Hmm.
which is telling stories from dope sneaker moments in the past.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I love your content. Thank you so much for jumping on again. And for everybody out there, you know what we say every week: wear your kicks. Peace.